Okay, great. Who was first to meet up with Spriggs? What was the occasion, and how were you drawn to him?
Well, I was the first one to meet Gene Spriggs, and I did that by way of their restaurant that they opened in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And it was called the Yellow Deli, a name that was lifted from a restaurant, I believe in
Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Yeah, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And
were you impressed with Gene Spriggs? What was he like in those early days?
he's well, then as now, from what I hear, is still very charismatic. He's has a presence about him when he enters the room. I mean, people, take note of him, and he's very athletic looking. He used to be a football player and a boxer, so he's had quite an athletic past, and he's always kept himself in good physical condition. Always looked younger than his years, and his younger wife added to that appearance of youthfulness also.
And Mike, what your impressions? What was the religion that Gene Spriggs was preaching at that time, and was he absolutely sincere in that? Is he sincere in the beliefs?
Well, at that time we believed he really was. Mm-hmm. The thing was, back then he was different. He was totally different from any of the denominational religions that you saw. And that was one of the things that attracted you to him. He was wearing a sweater sitting around an old spool table that had leather put on top of it, and it was just real rustic. It was hippie-ish, which we were back then, and he seemed very sincere. So we were really attracted to it. Plus, his God forgave you. That's the way we felt. You were forgiven.
And now?
Well, now we see that it's very controlling. He controls everything. Nothing happens in the community unless it comes directly from him.
Even in Rutland, Vermont, where he doesn't live.
Oh yeah. There, everybody's in total connection with him. From the apostolic workers in every area to the elders, it just kind of comes down the line.
His control is in every community, in every place, everywhere where he has established a religious, quote-unquote, organization, or I don't know what they call it these days, an expression of the body of Christ. That's what they were calling it when I was there. But his control is the one common denominator that marks every one of the communities.
And that's interesting, because in the community they will tell you there are no leadership. There is no real one, certainly not one leader.
Right. I used to say that too, and I was in the leadership for most of my time, most of my 15 years in the community.
Did you believe it, Jim, at the time?
Well, as I look at the time, I thought I believed that when I said it. I wasn't purposefully just making up something that sounded good, but I was very good at tailoring what I said to whoever was listening. Like if you, for instance, were a charismatic preacher. And so
but they believe that.
They believe that, and I believe that. I mean, I wasn't really aware of what I believed at the time. That's why I say that you could say things and think you believe them, but you didn't really believe it at the time.
So in a way, the belief system would be something like an old, maybe a Calvinist or someone who would believe that they were the divinely